All right. How's it going, everybody? I hope everybody's having a good day. Had ourselves a rather warm weekend up here in New York, but it's cooled off a little bit today, so it's kind of nice. And looks like I've got some work to do on the farm, so I figured I'll bring you all along with me. And there we go. Yeah, so these fields I have got prepped, and let's see what we've got here. There we go. We're going to throw some barley down. So, what I've got going right now is I've got the grain mill sitting over here on our farm, and I've got that thing just cranking away right now on getting a lot of stuff done for us. So we've got right now oat and sorghum, and I have it set to auto sell, so which is working out pretty convenient for us. You get this turned around, and I'll show you what we're making on a daily right now with just those two. What's going on, Drifter? Hope you're having a good day. Yeah, so with keeping it fairly full with oat and sorghum right now, I'm going to go ahead and throw wheat and barley in there, and we'll make some flour there. And right now, we're making anywhere, let's say roughly $20,000 a day, which is not terrible at all. That's not getting the best price. That's just letting it sell it as it goes. So that's working pretty well for us right now as far as just trying to make what we can. It's pretty early morning on the server right now. I am trying to get the barley, because barley, if I remember correctly, has a little bit higher yield than wheat does. So I set barley up for this field, and then on field 14 I've already gone ahead and planted the other field with wheat. Yeah, you're right, I definitely can make some bread with the flour. I got to take a look. Is there a bread factory, I think it's a bakery, already on this map? Then I'd have to go buy that, which would definitely work out as well. Now that I'm starting to have a little bit more of an income, I've got $100,000 left of the loan, which is come a long way. I had, I think, up to $300,000 there for a while, so I'm trying to get everything paid off, and then I should be able to purchase the bakery if there is one, which I think that there is. Sorry, got that little bit of a throat tickle today. And we'll get and I'll definitely be making more money if I use that. We'll take a look and see what that would take. How's it going, Bill? Yeah, so both of those are kind of small. I was looking at those maps as well today, and we might actually, when we're done servicing these fields, we might go ahead and just swing on over. We'll download a couple of those maps and take a look at them, just see what they are. I think there was two of them that came out. Let me use my other laptop and let me see if I can pull it up real quick. One of them looked a little bit better than the other. I'm trying to remember. It's hard to keep track of all the maps that are coming out all the time. Is it just not your play style? You don't like the smaller fields? Because they were definitely smaller fields that they had on those two maps. What would you say makes the ideal map for you, Bill? see, because today there was scrolling down Brombach and European countryside. Let's see. Yeah, so I do like the American maps. This map here has been surprising for me. I've really been enjoying this. As far as not having perfect field size. How's it going, Strange? Not having the perfect field size or field dimension, so it's a kind of goes with the landscape. I like that. I've never done any farming in real life, but I feel like this some of the maps that have decent sized fields like that are kind of more realistic. I kind of like it. Yeah, I could definitely use some more seed. I'll be filling up probably. I can get one more pass at least out of this. Yeah, and it was you said Stone Valley failed again, but I think that also gave him the opportunity. If you saw his Facebook post, it gave him an opportunity to go ahead and add alfalfa, which you can then make alfalfa hay and such on there as well. So um, I don't know if that's going to be in all platforms because of some of the things that he's adding to it. But man, I'm pretty excited for it. See what it has to offer. As we were talking about before, I really like the fact that it's a new map. It's not just the identical version of what was there before. And I think there's enough new things in 22 that make those changes worthwhile. I went ahead and put a cedar complex or basically a complex over here that I can keep lime and everything over. Yeah, it like the field dimensions are about. I feel like the field shapes are about the only thing that's a convert strange, which is kind of nice. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know what it was failing on, so that's kind of hard to tell because talking with some of our modders, it is frustrating to see some of the stuff that does fail when you would expect it to have passed otherwise. But I mean, it's hit or miss sometimes. I was watching some of the gameplay that uh, they were doing on the Hoff Bergman map that has come out on third-party sites. It's pretty slick. Again, it's not a just convert. It's a lot of new stuff, and looks like it's still a work in progress. So yeah, that would be really nice if we can get a 4X map that would be all platforms. It would have to be pretty basic though. That's the I would say the downfall, but that also makes it playable on all platforms. So I enjoy watching Welker Farms as far as his actual YouTube channel. So I always enjoyed playing on that map, and I saw some of the changes they were doing with it, which was having both farm sites set up a little bit better and such. And if I remember right, for that map, there's some modded conveyors that they're making to go with those grain bins, which would be kind of nice. Again, just some of the features that people are putting in are nice. The John Deere 8RX, yeah, so they do have those tanks that you can get with them. So on this, I've been going with the planters and the seeders that don't have fertilizer built in right now with precision farming. I don't know that it makes a difference at the moment, but I'm hoping that they're going to do something a little different with precision farming. So you have your um, crop scanners, which are not what they were in FS19's precision farming. So the crop scanners that you can install on your tractor, which I have on here, the ones that go in the mirrors only work in daylight, so obviously wouldn't be working right now. And then the Scania scanner that you can put on the front. See, these are the ones on the. You can kind of see them there on the mirrors. The that one will work day or night, but you have to have leaves grown in order for them to scan the actual crop. Again, I don't know that it actually makes much of a difference at the moment, but I'm trying to adjust my gameplay so that if they change anything with precision farming, that I'm already adapted to it. So I do my planting, I wait till the first growth stage, and then I do my spraying with the spot and spray, and then I go ahead and get fertilizer down as well, usually during that same one. So the Millennial map, I think the reason is that he just needs to reset, man. The Mapper's Paradise got a lot of flack from that map because it got rejected so many times. There were people that were upset with the shop that was outside of the actual map boundary, and there was just some things that kind of set him off as far as not wanting to do that map. Because if you look at the ratings of the map, even though it was a very well done map, the ratings did not do it justice. And that's kind of like a slap in the face to somebody who puts together a really good map, but from just, you know, the trends of things, people don't like something, so then that affects them. So Steve mods. The last thing I was playing with from him was obviously he has a whole bunch of modded base game equipment to speed it up, change the colors, and so on and so forth. Also has a lot of production silos that are really nice. But he has an Elm Creek edit that I think his base game farm and his Stevie edit of uh, Elm Creek makes Elm Creek what it should have been. Yeah, and that I saw there's another map that's valley based that I just saw, and the details on it. I'll tell you, I won't be able to play it most likely, just because this old 960 series graphics card on this laptop probably won't handle it. But there was another valley type map that has more fields, but I imagine that had a lot to do with it. Yeah, Millennial got hit pretty bad by that stuff. It looks like he's out planting though. I saw pictures he posted on because again I follow him on YouTube as well, and I enjoy his and Walker's content. There's another guy Bales Hay out in Arizona. I like to follow his stuff. It's kind of cool to see these guys, and hey, I really like how Mapper's Paradise and a few other guys have made maps off of major YouTubers that, I mean, I'm already watching these guys as it is, and then I can now use their equipment and use their farm. To me, it's kind of cool. I'm sure there's like, legality wise, but I'm sure there's, contact that has to be made with these guys to make sure that you're doing their brand justice as well. As far as if somebody wanted to make those maps. If Oxy were to make an American map, that'd be interesting because I don't think I've ever seen anything from him other than the European style, and sometimes I like playing on those. I think it's a lot of fun. So I do not have the dry corn silo, but I don't know if you guys noticed from Friday, the Fact Sheet Fridays, with those Weston flat bottom bins. One of the things that was Also listed is a corn dryer. So I'm curious, and people are saying that the um, new products are not going to be that mystery DLC that's people are talking about that's on Steam. But I really do think that that's going to be the new DLC, is because those bins I think are more than just bins. I think they are production type sites, at least some of them. I think that's what it's going to be. I'm wondering what he could do for a USA based map, because Oxy really likes to do actual farms or actual locations. So I'd be down with either a just a North American in general, because in you've got the farms that what uh, there's some, oh man, I'm drawing a blank, Canadian farms that are actually pretty good too. So that same styling I think would be good. All right. And what I forgot to do on my wheat field is roll it. Granted, that's only like 15% bonus or something like that, or 5%. But still, I like trying to do all of the stuff that you can. Sugar Creek is coming to all platforms. What is Sugar Creek? I don't recall that one. And I'll still have to get lime done on this one. Yeah, that weather that we've been having this year, man, it's been interesting to say the least. Yeah, for those who know me, I gotta have my electric tractor. Get this brought out over here. I don't remember. I think the electric will handle the roller. I've got the mulcher on here right now. Sorry, it gets a little choppy over here when I have all this equipment. As I save up, once I get this loan paid off, I'll get, like I said, I might get the bakery or just go purchase a bakery and have to um, have that product just auto sell, which is lazy. I get it, but it works. And moment of truth, we'll see if it'll handle this. Oh yeah, that Kubota DLC, and it's smaller-ish equipment. And the fact that Kubota is branded now as well in game, um, I decided to go ahead and look at the Kubota products, and it looks like the DLC is all of the North American based stuff, which cool. Um, but I did notice that there is a much larger availability of equipment worldwide, specifically in the Asian markets. And some of those things are some smaller harvesters, which, you know, looking at some of those maps that you're saying you don't like right now, but some of those maps I think would be pretty awesome with some of those Kubota harvesters and smaller equipment that does exist. Okay, I think the electric is not going to be the best tool for the job here. Let's go ahead and save that. Yeah, that Kubota DLC, and I mean, Strange, I know you're here in the chat, but I was saying before, I think the best part about that Kubota DLC is it's going to bring that universal passenger that we were used to. So you'll be able to sit side by side in the tractor with somebody and not do anything still. It'll be great. It'll just be like you're farming all over again. Oh, that's a loud one. Man, I got these Stony Acre equipment all over the place over here. So that Southern Cross, I haven't opened it up yet. I downloaded it today, and I haven't gotten into it. But I mean, I I put so many hours in this map, and I've you know been trying to keep this one going. And I mean, I started it from just buying a couple pieces of land, and I've been enjoying this. So I think I'm going to keep with this one at the moment. Um, it is very likely that if whenever Stone Valley comes out, that I might convert this map over to that one. By convert, I mean change this server over. Oh, come on. Driving like a crazy man. And yeah, I saw that. I'm excited to see what you come up with. I've been enjoying testing some of the maps that the FSG modding team have been putting together, so there we go. What's going on, is that Adden? Green Mountain Cattle Farm. Hoof-hearted. So it does look like it has some good sized fields there. And again, that was another one that didn't have like your absolutely perfect field dimensions and everything else. It's not like everything was just perfectly squared off. So it makes me feel like it's a little more realistic. I mean, maybe it's not. Depends on where the farms are, I guess. I'm doing real good, man. I hope you guys are having a good day as well. See, I've got. All right, so we're going to have some wheat and barley that'll get back into the grain mill. I got weeds done. I never did the rolling on 14, which I regret, but it is what it is. I do wish that the mulching mask that's on the map here, I wish this mulching mask would go away once you plant. Like, it doesn't need to keep blocking out everything else to let you know that, yep, you mulched it all right. So the convenient thing, Bill, about all mods right now with FS22 is every mod that's made, as soon as it gets done with PC testing, it gets sent immediately to console testing. And if it fails on console, then it will get released as a PC only map. And that goes with any mod. So, but yes, our modding team is working very hard to keep things console friendly and not keep all the console guys left out. So, and I think, as we were talking about in the last stream, I think that's one of the big things with FS22 is that it, with the cross-play availability, it encourages people to want to make their stuff uh, console mods as well, and that also encourages people to then release them on Mod Hub. Yeah, all of our maps, the goal has been for console release. And so far, we're 1 for 1, so not complaining. Uh, there we go. Oh my gosh. Driving around like a crazy man. This is how we don't get work done. Yeah, you say the 3500, so I'm a Ford guy personally, but I mean any American truck I'm a fan of. Um, I'm excited for what he is working on right now, which is that TLX, what 1979. Yeah, it's crazy how the branded content uh, can't get released on console at times. It, it's I guess that's how it works when you've got Giants who releases it for PC, but then Microsoft and Sony have their own laws, their rules associated with branded content and such, and they won't allow some things. So, which is kind of crazy. Yeah, I still like his 2020 series. The TLX 2020 is kind of nice. The 3500, um, I do enjoy it for some of the gameplay that I do, but for my general purpose, I really like the some of the older style pickup trucks because if I were to have a farm, that's probably what I'd have is an older pickup. But yeah, he's got that Mac that's coming out. I do wish there were some more branded vehicles in the game. I wish you could have a Ford logo or have the Ram logo or Chevy bow tie on the truck. Again, that's one of those things that if a modder were to make that and get it approved, which I right now I don't think would happen, but if that were to occur, then on console it would just be the Lizard brand yet again. We already see that with a few of the different branded components um, where they've had to release, such as the Landau flatbed low loader that has the Landau, and then there's a Lizard brand as well, which it's kind of disappointing at times. But even there's a 60-foot grain header you can get. It's the Midwest Duras, and you can get it for PC as the Midwest Duras, but it's the Lizard Duras for console, which again, I don't know what all the rules are as far as what Microsoft and Sony will and will not allow on there. I haven't taken a look at the pole barn. I have seen some of their. I've used some of their older pickups and such from OK Used Mods, because he tends to like to do some of the older American style mods, which I find a lot of fun. Um, I've had some issues with the pickup that he's had, some of the pickups on there. So there's an old flatbed um, pickup. It's like an F100 or something like that. And I mean, it's beautiful, but the steering and the brakes, which I'm sure I could go in and make some tweaks to myself, but the steering and the brakes are little much for me, which is probably realistic with that era of vehicle. But it's a little too much for me as far as gameplay wise. Although if I set auto drive to it or course play, it handles it just fine. It seems to be able to get the turning figured out better than I can, at least. You're saying OK Used Mods is finally using Mod Hub? I hadn't seen any stuff on Mod Hub yet. I guess I'm lacking on my staying up to date for that. I wonder what update he's coming. Oh, he was saying that he's going to release a new update that those middle barns can be repairable. So I was wondering why he didn't do that, because you already have mods from Alien Gym of the like constructible sheds, I think they're called, or something like that, where you walk up and you hit the action trigger, and then the pile of lumber that's sitting there can then be assembled. And if he could make that same kind of concept work for those those worn down equipment there or buildings there, and then make that cost you some money, so you have to pay a contractor to come out and fix your stuff, I think that would be pretty awesome. I've already got wheat down at the moment. I'm thinking about throwing some corn and sunflowers down. Actually, is next, so um, it'll be next cycle. But let's see. That's all Oxy stuff, right? Oh no, okay, use mods. That's funny. The thing that popped up on the top as the featured mod when I clicked that was the Calmsden Farm. That's awesome. I did not even notice that he was putting stuff out. That is because I've really liked his styling of stuff. So I might have to download those and take a look. Are those color changeable or not? Yeah, Alien Jim's done a lot with a lot of his maps. He's another one that has said he's not sure if he's intending on converting all of his either. So I know there's a desire to have some of his other ones, but the fact that I, I understand No Man's Land being the first release of a map on FS22 was a big deal, and being getting your foot in the door and establishing the dominance there is kind of big. What's going on, Devar? But my personal opinion is I think the No Man's Land should have skipped. I think that uh, it would have been for the open platform style maps. I like his Western Wilds a lot better than the No Man's Land. I think that that's more of an it takes into account the features of FS22 that No Man's Land was just a port. Let's get down there, and I mean it won, so it got on there first, and so that means it's going to get more downloads than anybody else. So uh, so there are select buildings. I don't know if those are ones that you can or not. Because I know some of the sheds and such, when you place them down, you can change the colors. Because I always forget to do that, and then I see somebody else has them on their map, and they have it in a different color, and then it dawns on me that I should have looked for that feature. Because I don't normally have my help menu open, but if I could, I don't know, have all of them being the red barns, just on principle, I would. 7 miles an hour is so slow. One of the other things that Alien Jim did on the Western Wilds that I didn't realize, but I thought was kind of interesting, is it's kind of a different take on the train system. So the train, it drives around. It's more decorative than anything else, and it has more of a uh, actual train feel as far as a boatload of cars attached to it. But it doesn't drive through the map. You do have a train sell point, which is inconvenient to use. So it's not like the base game train where you put it in one of the train silos, rent the train, and then unload into the train and then drive it off of the map so that it then sells it in whatever the neighboring city is. And you usually get a little bit better of a sell price by sending it to those locations. And the $1,000 it costs you to rent the train is really a drop in the bucket for what you actually make if you have enough product. But the way he implemented a kind of a boost to sell it to the train was he made a sell point that is a stationary train, and you have to actually load it onto the flatbed. So if you want to sell bales, you actually have to go get a. I decided to use a telehandler because the forklift that they had doesn't work terribly well, and then it puts it on there. And then from uh, to put grain into the grain carts. Again, the sell point, it's not something you can drive over and just dump into. You have to use an auger to get it in there. So it makes you work for it, but still gives you a nice boost for selling it to that location, vice an easier sell point to go to. Oregon Springs. I don't think I've looked at that one yet. I'll have to take a look at it. I haven't seen what that one's about. I imagine it's a, you know, Pacific Northwest style map. I was slightly disappointed that the map that somebody came out with earlier this year, it was similar to Pacific Northwest in name alone, and then the map itself was nothing like it. I was kind of hoping that if somebody did a map like that, the Pacific Northwest that we had in FS19, which was the map that DJ Goham used for all of his mod tutorials, if you remember those. I was hoping somebody was going to do that with the massive elevation changes, and I thought it was pretty cool when I played that one where I had the smaller fields up on the plateau, if you will, and you had to drive those switchbacks to get all the way up to the top of there. And down on the valley portion, you actually had those huge fields that you could use. When I first started playing FS19 with having the crop destruction on, that was the first map that I really had to learn how to manage your tracks. Because when you had some of those massive fields, and even the largest base game harvester would fill up on a single pass or even less, and then you'd have to make sure you're monitoring where the pipe was so you didn't destroy crop and everything. So, you're talking to Clutch, and he said he's not sure if he was gonna make a standard. Oh. Oh. Alright, we're getting this one done. When we're done here, I've already got, like I said, I got weeds done on 14. I won't spray for weeds here until it pops up. Oh, I can get lime down, I believe. Where we go? There we go. Yeah, that's where I oversprayed a little bit. Yeah, after we're done, we'll go and throw some lime down. And I'm hoping, when you look at my environmental scores, I'd like to see that one kick up to 100%. That'd be pretty nice. And this one as well. I don't know what was the holdup on this one. I think it was because on the last time I went around, I had up in this area some crop that was left there that I was just getting too tired to be able to finish. I'd like to be able to get this up to 100%, and then I've still got to do something down here that's, I don't know what I'm missing. I've been told that if you get a small field in your non-fielded area, so like the fact that this doesn't have a field in it was hurting my environmental score, so I had to create a small field and then tend it as you would everything else. So I could go throw a row of, I don't know, sunflowers in there. He said, Clutch says that Elk Mountain he wants to console, but he's not sure if the modder could. Yeah, I mean it. That's one of those things. The modder makes what they want to make, and if I can only imagine being a modder that if you tried to implement every single thing that somebody is asking for, you'd never be able to release it, or it'd just be unfinished in so many different ways, and you're never going to be able to appease everybody. So that's usually what creates new modders. Is somebody wants something and can't get somebody else to do it for them. So the joy of the game is you can just figure out how to do it on your own. And for any of you interested in getting into modding, I mean, I'm not the guy, just to be clear, but I've definitely seen lots of tutorials. There's lots of ways to learn to do it, whether right here on YouTube. I've seen Farmer Bob has a lot of tutorials, and he's made some interesting maps himself. Like the Mars one that has a rocket that got you to Mars. There's all kinds of different things you can do. And yeah, I like Farmer Cop's map tutorials because he doesn't give you every single secret, and he tries to keep the length of the tutorials very watchable. I kind of bounce between a few different map reviews. The I know Clutch or not Clutch. Farmer Klein does some very in-depth mod reviews, and he has a scoring system that he uses that is fair, whether you like it or not. It is fair the way he does it, and whether map designers choose to build their map to try to get the highest score they can on his scale or not. Um, that's up to the map designers, because he was just doing a map review that was like almost 2 hours long of Hoff Bergman, and that was a 1-star map that really is a phenomenal map, but based off of his grading criteria, just doesn't meet the cut. Hang on one second. All right, back. Yeah, the Farmer Cops videos I really enjoy just because, again, he's very short to the point as far as I don't find myself skipping through the majority of it. His gameplay style, not always mine, as far as Um, I like to go realistic. I'm not a big role play kind of person, but that seems to really work for him as far as keeping you guys interested and involved. Because I know he did that with his No Man Land series, where his uh, his viewers could basically come up with quote unquote contract ideas and such, which is kind of a cool way of doing it. I heard the modder is gonna not. So the team at FSG with the that has made the Chainsaw Valley, so he's definitely still working. The lack of fields is, it was meant as a logging map and was added some fields on there to give you some ability to do some farming. But it was meant as a logging map, and it does that incredibly well. I am not a logger, so I have farmed the snot out of the fields that are on there. I'll tell you that. And for just enjoying gameplay with friends while they're up logging, I'm able to get them to come down and help me out with some of the stuff I needed on the fields. And whenever they needed, um, some logs hauled, I was able to give them a hand. So I thought it was actually a really good gameplay for multiplayer because it kind of was the best of both worlds. As far as the number of fields, I mean, it was a logging map, and like I said, it did work for what it was. And I mean, we played on that one for a while there. And it turns out with anything, maps take a while. Yeah, bad reviews happen, but you know what the thing about bad reviews is? That means people are actually looking at your stuff. So reviews are reviews, and I mean, as long as it's constructive criticism that people are providing, that's okay. Have you played that map yourself, Bill? Logging is definitely not my thing. I mean, playing keyboard and mouse does affect that. But like I said, I will truck drive like a boss. Sometimes a little too fast. Sometimes I do need somebody to come help lift my truck up and all of the stuff that I might have attempted to scatter all over the highway right next to, I don't know, a fire hydrant that I might have hit twice, maybe three times. But other than that, I mean, that's my version of logging. And I find when I'm doing a lot of driving like that, I end up playing with controller. Just it helps out a lot as far as not being so jumpy around curves and actually having some throttle control and such like that, which is kind of nice. All right, one more pass, I think. Get this knocked out. And then we can go ahead and throw some lime down. So I will say, so I'm not a, I'm just a tractor fan. I tend to like red more than green, but I will enjoy a good piece of equipment regardless. SID modding and custom modding, I think, are, as far as equipment mods go, two of the best modders I've ever seen. The details that they put on there are just phenomenal. I am excited for. There's the John Deere 4940, I think it is. It's the John Deere sprayer slash spreader that we had in 19. That's coming back out again soon. I believe that's off to testing pretty soon. I just saw a mod review of the Case early rise planters, and those look phenomenal from custom modding. What's going on? How you doing, Jonathan? Yeah, they with custom modding and SID modding, the details that they put in is incredible, and it just like you said, it just works. You know, it's like there's no compromise with it. It's amazing in my thoughts. The I was watching an early mod preview of that early rise cedar or planter, excuse me, and they even went through the trouble of having every hose that goes from the seed box go to the actual individual planter head. So it's not like they just go into a jumble. If you went through and you followed every single hose, they actually connected to the correct location. It's like, who does that? All right. Just trying to get these fields taken care of there, Sage. Sometimes got to get this thing cleaned up, I guess. I think next we'll throw some lime down, and that might be everything for these fields for the moment. Like I was saying before, I'm hoping with precision farming that they're going to add some kind of functionality or change the functionality of the crop sensors, which right now you have to use the crop sensor once the leaf is grown. I'm wondering if that's going to change because it doesn't. I don't seem to notice any difference when I use it. So I will say it does give me a more detailed map of the, but that's really just aesthetics. It doesn't change anything in game wise. Somerset Farms. He had Lancey Boy help him with the sheds. Yeah, so a lot of these modders, they do work together as far as some of the equipment. Sometimes you'll find a, like you said, shed or other piece of equipment that you really like, and they'll get a hold of the other modders and see if it's okay to use that. Let me get this out of the way. She's a little small. The number of details that you have to put in when mapping seems incredible. All right. Uh, so I heard that Bullet Bill is actually map making again for FS22. So I'm not sure what he's going to be bringing in, but I'm kind of hoping he's going to do something completely new. Again, I think FS22 is different enough that it's better when people start fresh. I don't recall having played any of Bullet Bill's maps. I've just heard uh, a lot of respect from other map makers towards his mods. So, and let's get this set up. Wrong way. There we go. Yeah, I'm not sure what they're going to bring from Bullet Bill, but I've heard somebody was posting that he is back. I'm kind of interested to see the Ashton Corners by MRG. I did like a lot of his maps that he was doing in FS19. Now, he wasn't one that released on Mod Hub, so I don't know if that's going to be the case, which will be disappointing only because so many good maps have made it to Mod Hub. But his would be kind of nice. Oh, was Lone Oak a Bullet Bill map? I'd only played it on FS19, so I think that I had read that was a convert that was authorized by him, but I enjoyed that one on 19. I know the team on the FSG modding team is working some maps, and definitely excited to see what comes out with those. I've had the privilege of doing some testing with those, and I can definitely say I'm excited for them. Oh, that's a great question. What are your guys' favorite features of a map? For me, I like the terrain to be varied. I don't like it to be just a perfectly flat map. Um, I I enjoy it when, like I say, the terrain is varied, when the maps or the fields are not perfect, so they're not all perfectly square, but you can square them off, if you will. So I can like these fields I'm working right now. It's got these curved edges, but I can come through and manually square them up, and then I can set a worker on them and have no issues with the worker being able to continue the work, or just run a really nice fat headland around it and then set a worker on it so that I can do multiple things. Um, Productions, I don't like them just thrown in there. I like their productions to make sense. Um, in a map like this one, I mean, this I wouldn't expect to see a grape processing plant, which we all know is a winery. But Giants is keeping things PG, so it's a grape processing plant. I would not expect to see a grape processing plant in a place that I wouldn't expect to have grapes. You know, road systems is a big thing, but also not just a grid of roads. And I like the mix of dirt roads and um, a mix of paved roads, and it just feels real at that point. So the muddy roads, I don't know how that would actually get implemented. I know there's the uh, realism mod that you can have and that kind of stuff. Um, I just I like it to feel when I'm on a map that I could go drive there and experience what's going on there. That's what Oxy did with Calmsden, and it is crazy when you look at the details that he put into Calmsden, and then you look at actual video footage of people driving through the actual farm, and it's the same. It's crazy. But it also has to be one of the downfalls to me with Calmsden is it's it's so difficult at times to get equipment around that it's almost not playable. So it needs to bridge that gap. Decent road system, you said. Deal breaker. So I do like, yeah, that's what you're. I agree with what you're saying there with the choke points. That the the decorations. I like when I'm driving through and I see uh, a farm silo up in the next to an old field, even if it's a farm silo that's falling down, or I mean, what happened like when you're driving out in the Midwest anywhere and you see that old barn that's been coated in probably 20,000 coats of red stain at that point, and it's got that American flag, or for my northerner friends, the Canadian flag that's just painted on the side of it. Um, but I like them to be usable, which from my map making friends, I hear that's a lot of work. So thank you guys who do what you do. But I like it to be usable, so uh, allow me to open the barn and park my equipment inside there. Or if I can't do that, allow me to get rid of it without having to go in a Giants editor. Rock City, I don't know what that one is. You'll have to educate me there, Navar. Yeah, the wicked narrow roads is a pain. And that's why he shut off traffic. So in that, like, Calmsden as an example, I love what Oxy does with his work, but Calmsden, that's why he didn't put traffic on there. Was could you imagine? For those of you who have played that map, could you imagine trying to drive with the traffic AI that they have now, which actually goes fast, which is good because that's real, but it doesn't stop for you. So I would love to see a mod, and it would be a script mod. So unfortunately, it would be for PC only. But I think it would be awesome for a map that has traffic that's going next to a field. Whenever I turn my hazards on, for that traffic to stop for me. Because right now the hazards are purely decorative. But I would love for if I'm driving with my hazards on, and if they're within a, you'd have to set up a radius around me. But if I'm driving near the edge of the field and I need to back into the road to be able to turn around, that the traffic would stop whenever I have my either hazards or um, the flashers or something like that on. I think that would be a phenomenal. I don't know if it's a mod or it would have to probably be a script that would be included in a map. But again, that would make it PC only. Maybe we know some guys that can do some scripting that might be able to figure that kind of thing out. That'd be pretty awesome. See, I'm that guy that has lots of needs and wants and likes and wants does, uh, but not the patience or time to figure it out. Because unlike some of our other friends, I haven't given up on the game. I still enjoy playing it. And sometimes you can hang out here and play with me. Because I've seen for a base game helper, I believe, and again, I tend to turn traffic off on many of the maps I play on. This being one of the ones as an example right now. But I'm pretty sure if you hire a helper, a base game helper to do your field, that as it gets to the field edge, traffic stops for it. So the AI knows something. I don't know. Whenever I've been driving on some back roads, if I saw a massive sprayer that was coming up to the field edge and was backing up so that it can make another line, uh, I'd do this thing called, I don't know, stop and let them get through. Or if there was a way to have a movable barrier that you could then put in the traffic to stop it. Again, that's more of like a realism kind of gameplay because most people, they're just going to do what I end up doing, which is just turn the traffic off, get it out of my way. But it would be kind of cool just to have that kind of feature. All right, well, looks like I think we got one more pass here. Let me take a look. Yeah, that mulch. They've got to come up with a way to get rid of that. I don't see that change. Oh, I think I can fertilize the other field, though. That needs, yeah, I can fertilize 14, so that's what we'll do here. We'll finish liming 13. Actually, let me update that. 13. Lime done. Yeah, so we'll throw the lime down here. Then we'll go over and we will fertilize now that the sun's up. At least I think this counts as sun up. We'll find out when I try to activate it. But yeah, we will then fertilize 14. And I think that's all we got for today. Oop. Look at that. I just limed that entire field and I didn't even go through the whole thing. That's awesome. I love precision farming. I'm trying to remember. I don't remember if did Lancy Boy use the ones that Legacy had made. I don't know. I know that MRG is using those in his Ashton corners, but that's because Legacy actually learned from MRG, and that's where he started, was with him, and they worked together a lot. At least I'm pretty sure. Get this filled back up, and we'll go get some fertilizer. And I think I'm still good to drive on that field right now. Ooh. Am I out? Why? I hate it. There. There we go. I think this has the biggest extension on it. Oh, this is a small. Man, look at that. I didn't even use. This is the smaller of the two, and I didn't even use all of it. That's awesome. All right, so I've already sprayed for weeds. Hang on one second. A Cub Cadet. I mean, I think the closest we had was there was a John Deere mower, ride-on mower you could get. Moment of truth. Let's see. I don't think care tires are required yet. All right, winning. And yeah, the Husqvarna would be pretty nice. I mean, you can do a Kubota now. I imagine that there's that's some of the stuff I expect to see pretty quick from some of that Kubota stuff making its way to in-game, because you should be able to do a Kubota riding lawnmower. Again, I was looking at other products that they have, and they've got some pretty sweet. They're small harvesters, but they've got a small combine that you can have. It's only in their Asian markets, but that's another thing I thought was pretty slick. And I am chewing through the fertilizer for this field. Holy cow. Let's save that. Yeah, so I like what A2 Studios comes together with. Some of it's just a little over the top, which, I mean, when you're don't get me wrong, the stuff is awesome. Again, if you're going with the mower, you're not going for unrealistic at that point, because if you were, so I would expect the zero turn that he built. Do they even make a zero turn with track? So to me, that's why. Because if you're the person that's going to use an actual mower in game, you're going for realism. You're not going for the unrealistic stuff. I mean, unless you're going to take that, put a insane capacity on it, and then mow your entire, you know, grass field with that zero turn, which would be a little ridiculous, but I mean, hey. I mean, don't get me wrong, I do put tracks on everything that I possibly can, so there I am speaking out of both sides of my neck, right? I mean, I say that as I'm driving a Magnum with wheels on it instead. Yeah. I mean, if DJ Goham wants it, A2 Studios will make it. I do use the A2 Studios. Well, I was for a while using his giant tipper trailer, which was nice because if you're just hauling stuff just for selling sake or whatever, like it's kind of nice to have that unrealistic capacity. But oh no, you know what I didn't do when I did this? And that's kind of funny because all that stuff I was talking about. Check this out. Remember that time that I didn't turn on the crop sensor? Requires daylight. Well, I guess it's not daylight enough anyway. So we're just gonna, and again, I don't think it does anything. Ah, turns out the Google machine has all the answers. So, I mean, a track to zero turn. I'm just trying to think of that practically. Like, what would it? It wouldn't. If you're living in muddy terrain, I guess, where the grass is wet, you're not going to cause ruts. But I mean, as soon as you turn, the tracks are going to create havoc. At least I would think. An auger bed for the superliner? What I miss, Strange? What would save me fertilizer? Oh, using the... So, I have yet to be able to figure out what it actually does, because whenever I use the crop sensors, it still uses this same amount. Like, it's still raising the pH level by the same, or the nitrogen level by the same amount. So I'm not fully sure. Like I was saying, I think, and I'm just, maybe I'm wrong here, but I think that it just hasn't fully implemented the feature that it's designed for. I don't know. And this is why I should probably just buy the one that you can mount to the front, because it does not rely on the sun being up, which it appears to be up, but it's apparently not up enough, which again, that's real. But also, yeah, whenever you use a track skid steer, you put wood down so it doesn't destroy your lawn. I did see the on that mow it. It did have a feature that I thought was kind of cool, which was the steel rims that you can get, similar to these guys right here. was it? Yeah, you could get these on there, which unnecessary, but again, that's what I would go with, just cause. So, Sage, I'm not. That's one of the weird things is, and again, maybe I'll just do a test sometime and just mess with it a little bit more. But I have not noticed that it does much of anything. Let's see if it'll let me activate. It'll let me activate it now. Uh, so crop sensor's on. So we will see if it's changing anything on that map, which you can look on my mini map there. It is changing a little bit. So it's doing something. But again, the amount that it's adding seems to be no change. You can see right below. So where it thought it was perfect before, it's having me add just a little bit more. So as I go over this headland area that I made, I think it's going to have me add a little bit more again. Yeah, all that talk with that zero turn mower, I mean, I think it's cool that, and again, people make mods for a reason. It's because somebody wants it. You know, whether it's the modder themselves wanted it or somebody else wanted it, right? I'm personally probably never going to use a zero turn mower in game. I know some people, they want it because, well, that's what they have in real life, and they want to be able to use something that they use on a weekly basis at home. They want to be able to use that in game too, which, I mean, that's cool. So, and so it doesn't close the out of date. The out of date stuff will still pop up from, again, from things I've seen, is it will still go. If I were to have feedback on this, it would just simply be that that should be the difference on my score here. That should be, you know, instead of full points for nitrogen, you should only get partial points for your nitrogen if you're not using the crop sensor. That's just what I would do, but I'm not making it. I think he's going to change the design of the auto trailer. He wants to make it bigger and a longer trailer. And again, like, if you're going for the unrealistic kind of farming aspect of things, absolutely, that's pretty cool. So the crop sensor strange, I think, only affects when you are using nitrogen. If you were based off of, let's just say we'll go electric because that's what I do. Detects real nitrogen demand of your crops. More precise information. And so it just gives you, so maybe I get a little bit higher yield. I'm curious. I might have to do some, you know, testing and just reset the game to, you know, do it with and without it to see what kind of effects it has. I'm just, you know, more curious than anything else. I mean, you can definitely on my mini map see the like little wave in front of me where the sensor is messing with it. Wonder if it'll give me penalty for being over fertilized now. I did see it's a uh, British YouTuber that he did a test using auto drive because course play because I'm a huge fan of auto drive and course play. Um, he's the one that made the. Uh, he has a lot of tutorials on the new course play, which is nice. Uh, and course play now has the ability to test your crops using the crop sensor, which is nice. And he tested whether it was cheaper or more expensive to just pay for the crop to be tested or to use the functionality of of course play. And turns out it was a little bit cheaper to use course play. Or no, it was a decent amount cheaper for the size field. It did use more samples because of the way course play overlaps it, but that being said, it was still cheaper than paying for it outright using the menus, I thought was pretty cool. Alright, I think I'm going to run this fertilizer out of, or this spreader out of fertilizer, and then get this put away, and then be done. I think I have everything that I can get accomplished done on these fields. I've got to wait for the barley field to germinate and have, once it's got crop in it, then I can come back and spray it for weeds using the spot spray. And then I can also do the fertilization. And I bet if I were to get, this would have saved me a bunch of money too, I'm sure. Yeah, 23 for that and 15 on each of my tractors. So it would have been cheaper just to buy that and attach it to the front. So he wants to allow for more stuff on his. I mean, that's awesome. I mean, if a lot of people really like the gameplay of cram as much on there as possible, which that's to each their own, right? That's kind of the advantage to modded gameplay is you can do pretty much anything. So, which is nice, you know. That way, I like to play semi-realistic. I don't like it so ultra realistic that it becomes a burden. Um, when I have smaller fields, I end up playing with you know, using the what's it called? Oh, manually loading all the bales and all. But I find that there's more to do in FS22 than there was in 19. So, like by stage or by pushing out your field work and everything else, it works out pretty well. So, yeah. So the less trips to sell point, that's a big deal for me. Like I like to use, I really enjoy and unless I have a lot of people playing with me, I've got to have it set up with, or I enjoy a large field harvest. I like to have the auger wagons running, having your semis out there on the edge of the field, loading those up, and having somebody taking those over to your grain bins. And I enjoy that style of gameplay, but unfortunately, you don't always have those people that are available to you. So I tend to use auto drive and course play, and then I can choose to run auger wagon, or I can choose to run semi, or whichever piece of that I want. Or sometimes I think it's pretty cool with the game to be able to just set it all up and have all of your equipment out in the field doing something. which I imagine is what a farmer would probably want. So I could have every single piece of equipment doing its job and ultimately making me money. It might be costing me money, but it'll make me some money. So, well, ladies and gentlemen, uh, thank you guys for hanging out with me and getting some work done out in the fields over here. Uh, we got pretty much everything done that we can. We've got field 13 mostly prepped. 14 is ready to go. We got pH, nitrogen where it needs to be. So our yield should be pretty decent, and that's going to give us a decent amount of straw that we can sell as well. Field 13, tomorrow, if I have time, we'll go ahead and hop on, and we're going to get the last bit of work done there. And then back to the waiting game. So we've got quite some time before we're going to need to get back in here. Maybe we'll get some other work done. And, tomorrow, if I can, we'll do another stream and get the rest of that work done. I hope everybody has a great day. And this is AZSparky. Have an awesome day, guys.